Straw Hut Media.
Don't be alone with Jay Kogen.
Don't be alone with Jay Kogen. I'm your host, Jay Kogen. And ignore the song. Be alone with me. I'm not as horrible as I sound. I'm certainly not as sexually predator-ish as the title of the show makes me. Honestly, if you know me, you'd think that it was just a horrible thing that Jay Kogen would never be accused of that kind of thing. But since you don't know me, some of you, take my word for it. I'm a nice guy. Anyway, today on Don't Be Alone with Jay Kogen, we have a very special guest. My son, Charlie Kogen, is going to be here to tell me all the things I did wrong to him in his childhood. He's 22 now. He's been able to sort of accumulate a lot of bitterness and anger, and it's going to spew out at me nonstop in a rage of torrent for the next hour. So I think you should stay tuned and hear that, because it's going to be really bad. Actually, no, I just asked him to tell me some things that I could have done better as a dad, because I want to know. I want to know how I did. I want to actually, I'm still a dad. I'd like to be better as a dad. So it's fair question. He'll be here with that. And I have a question that I'm going to talk to him about. The show is all about me talking to my guests about things that are bothering me. One of them is my anxiety of the future. I don't know where the future is going. And who better to ask than a 22-year-old who thinks he's going to be a musician about anxiety of the future? We'll talk about all that and more. If you want to comment or question, we do listener mail. Please write in your questions to dbawjaykogen@gmail.com. And I will answer your questions. And while all that is taken down and the business is out of the way, let's get ready for our big new guest, Charlie Kogen.
Don't be alone with Jay Kogen.
All right, so here we are with my very special guest, one of the top musicians in my Spotify, my son Charlie Kogen, who is incredibly talented musician. He's an incredibly talented writer, just a writer of writing things. He's a very interesting guy, and somebody who part of me regrets that he's my son, because I'd like him to be my friend. But since I'm his father, I can't be his friend. I have to be his father. But someday, in some reconfiguration of reincarnation, I would just like to be his buddy. But that's not for this lifetime. This lifetime, I get to be his dad, which is pretty good too. That's all separate. So Charlie Kogen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. You're a very brave young man.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
So Charlie, you're 22 years old. You're a student at...
Yes, when's my birthday?
August 5th.
Okay.
2001.
Just making sure you know.
Okay. Well, I confused it the other day. I thought it was August 8th, which was your bar mitzvah day.
Okay. That's not my bar mitzvah.
It
was September 6th.
September 6th?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, September. It's also Nana and Papa's anniversary. It was a special day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was that really your bar mitzvah day? It was September 6th?
September 6th.
Huh. Okay.
It was during the school year, so
I'm bad with dates.
All my friends could be at the party, you know.
So anyway, so you're 22 years old, and May 8th was my bar mitzvah day. That's what I'm confusing.
Ah, okay.
May 8th was my bar mitzvah day.
Yeah.
22 years old. You're a international relations student at Stanford. You're heading into your senior year.
Super senior year,
which means that you should have already graduated.
Yes, I should have already graduated. Well, since, as you know, I took time off. I was on the couch for
right during COVID, most of COVID. Do you feel that you're behind schedule then?
A little bit, not like a ton. I think when I'm at school, I don't feel like I'm behind schedule, because there are a lot of people in my boat.
Right.
But I feel like I have a lot of friends from high school and from otherwise that are already graduating and going out into the world and doing their own thing.
Do you think taking this fifth year, which really is a fourth year, but fifth year is in a way just delaying the inevitable? Or was it just like you could both delaying the inevitable or just squeezing the most out of the college experience?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think I intended to squeeze the most out of the college experience because it felt like I wasn't really getting as much as I could have been out of my Zoom classes. But I feel like since I made that decision, it feels a little bit like I'm avoiding the inevitable.
Right.
Like, I think that's a byproduct of wanting to squeeze the most out of my college.
That leads me to my issue that I'm having that I wanted to discuss with you. One of
your issue with me as a
well, I have
as a
many
son?
issues with you as a son.
Okay.
many issues with you. But
Okay,
I'm
let's air out those
not here
grievances.
to roast you particularly. But just as I approach, I'm 60 years old. As I'm looking into my career, laying out in the pathway, and also just life, laying out in the pathway what's going on. There's a certain trepidation about what the future holds. I don't know. I started out in show business doing one thing, and the thing that I was doing kind of doesn't exist anymore. Like the multi-camera sitcom does not exist anymore. Not that that's the only thing I did, but I did that a lot. I do single cameras and I do movies and other things, but show business has definitely changed. Broadcast television, which I worked on almost exclusively, seems to be dying. That streamers were alive for a brief moment. They also seem to be collapsing and dying. Then cable is, people are cutting the cords. There's like, what entertainment is very unknowable. So I have a little bit of a fear of the future. So you're presumably going to be a musician, or at least try your hand at being a musician. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And you also have potential to do many other things. You're also a talented writer, and maybe someday you'll try your hand at being more of a writer. You study international relations, so that maybe you'll be going into the spy business. I don't know what happens with international.
Yeah, the CIA sends me, or they send recruitment emails through the IR, international relations mailing list at Stanford.
So if I can do anything with this podcast, it's blow your cover so you're never a spy. Yeah. At least I'll have done that.
But I can be like Val Kilmer in Top Secret. I can be like a singing musician spy that infiltrates like North Korea or something.
Yeah, I honestly think that that's a great use of all your skills.
Yeah.
Your language, skills of language, skills of
I guess
musicianship.
Russian, yeah. But I don't know. Maybe Korean
You
is
can
next on the docket.
You'll learn Korean. It won't take you that long to learn Korean.
I don't know. We'll see.
If you really wanted to. So, but do you have trepidation about your future?
Yes.
Well, I get that, but how do you not let the anxiety of that future sort of stop you in your tracks?
It's something I definitely struggle with. I think it's hard still while I'm at school, because I think I still feel like I have to finish that whole thing up. And not to just refer to like my lovely college experience as that whole thing, but I don't know. But it definitely feels a little bit of like a detour or departure from what I plan to do career wise.
Okay.
Which I've kind of struggled with. Because I have friends that go to musician friends that have gone to music school, and they're kind of baked into that world already. It seems like in some ways that I'm not.
Well, how hard? Let's stop that. How hard would it be for you to bake yourself into that world just by entering it?
Yeah, it wouldn't be that hard. I don't think it would be hard, but I think I know some of those people already.
Right.
But it still feels a little bit like they've kind of been in this environment where they've been laser focused on the things that they want to do. And they've been studying that and pursuing that and kind of developing professional connections through college in a way that I might have been if I were studying like CS or something, computer science at Stanford. Or like if I wanted to be a software engineer, like I would be interacting with people that work at big companies and things that might be recruiting me right out of college.
Right. But software engineer is a specific skill that you would have had to learn. You are learning and have been learning the skills of a musician and about producing and other things by doing it. Yeah. So you have that. What you don't maybe have is the networking end of that, or the community that people might get from going to the Berklee School of Music or whatever that is. But it seems like that's a world that you can enter pretty quickly. Yeah. Just by schmoozing with the right people and saying, I'm here too, and let me work for free.
Yeah,
for sure. Let me help you out in this thing, and let me help you out in this thing. Suddenly you get known in those ways.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that's not so much what I'm stressed about. I guess I'm also anxious just about like, how do I make money doing the thing I like?
Right.
That's also a little bit anxiety inducing for me. Cause I think, I don't know, you're probably like, I don't know, the WGA is on strike, SAG is on strike because they're not getting paid enough.
Right.
Like musicians can't even like unionize in the same way as the writer. Not that they can't even, but like they don't. Like there is a musicians union ostensibly.
There have been many attempts at songwriters union and the powerless musicians union and all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're performing rights organizations are great, but they're not the whole deal. I think, but just sort of, I don't think there's as much money in what I want to do, particularly like with songwriting, with like production.
So what's your worst case scenario? Like imagine you get out of school and you have trouble making money. What does that future look like?
That future looks like, I don't know. I'm probably going to be living with you.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
But all right. But I mean,
I'll do more laundry.
Right. Okay. But no, I think your mother, that's the optimal future for your mom and me. Like, hey, we get to have Charlie around. But I mean, honestly, like, I think, how would you make a living if you couldn't make a living writing and producing songs? If that weren't going to happen, which I think it will happen, but if it weren't to happen, what?
I think I would sort of give myself a time frame to reach certain benchmarks. I mean, I don't know if that's right, but I think that I've heard of some people that were like, oh, if I can't get anything in like 5 years, like I'm going to quit the business. Right. Or like I've heard some of those stories, but I think
but would you teach music? Would you? I
could. I also just might pivot career directions at that point. I don't know. I studied international relations. I could maybe try to enter that world again. I could maybe try to.
And you could do anything with international relations. No one knows what that is. Yeah. So you can go into any business at all.
Yeah. I think the IR department also has trouble defining what it is because I've taken like the most random classes that count towards my major.
Right. It's almost like having a scrimshaw major.
Yeah.
Like we're a major, like what do you do? Well, we whittle ivory. Well, why? Don't ask. We're just going to do it and then see where it goes.
I don't know. I feel like, whittling ivory is very specific. I feel like international relations is very broad.
That's true.
So I think like, it's sort of like, oh, I'm majoring in milk. It's like, I'm majoring in world.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And I think you'd be a good world major. Yeah. All right. So worst case scenario, you make a pivot at some point, and then the anxiety comes from maybe I'm pivoting too soon. If I had given it a few more years, maybe I would have made it, or maybe I'm pivoting too late and I should have switched gears and something else sooner. Is that right?
Yeah, there'll probably be some of those fears and worries as well. I mean, I honestly don't think. I don't know. I feel like in order to sort of fill one need, I might be sacrificing another. So
everything's a loss, right? Yeah. Everything is a loss. Like any choice is loss. So you gain something and you lose something. If you choose to stop being a musician but being something else, maybe you get the gain, that new thing, but you lose that other thing, right? I mean, but that's every single choice.
Yeah.
So that's okay. I mean, I think I take comfort in the idea that if I step out and I fail, I can switch gears. Like you're saying, I can move, I can change. And if I like it, if I step out and I fail, but I like what I'm doing, I can continue going down that road. If I'm getting some positive feedback, but not making, big bucks or something, I'll see where it can take me. That's good too. Lucky for you. I think that your mom and dad, both were writers, and we know what it's like to sort of struggle to try and get to do your passion to your thing.
Yeah.
A lot of parents don't know that feeling and would worry.
Yeah.
I have very little worry.
But I feel like that, I don't know, because you and mom were both people that followed their dreams to pursue careers that they actually loved. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's liberating, but also scary at the same time. Cause it's like, I don't have any pressure on me to be like a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, like whatever the sort of like stable job. Like you don't have any moral authority to tell me what to do or what not to do.
So why is that a problem?
It's scary. It's scary. Then it's just like, what do I do if there's kind of no boundary, if the possibilities are wide open,
So do you think if you're at a musician friend of yours and their parents were like dismissive of their musicianship and said, we want you to become a retailer, right? We want you to open a store and become open a Starbucks. We think that's what your career should be. You think that guy's luckier?
No, I don't think that guy's luckier, because I think that person clearly has more of a will to pursue the thing that they want to pursue than maybe I would. I feel like
he has something to fight against.
I think that like. And if they're still studying music despite their parents insisting that they be a doctor or a lawyer, like that person has more of a...
It's proof of passion.
Yeah.
You're looking for proof of passion.
Maybe.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I think like, I feel like I would be a little more... I would give in a little more easily to your demands if it were like...
Right. If I said you couldn't be a musician, I'm taking away all your music and now you have to be, you have to be international relating. That's what you went to school for. You've got to find a job in it. You'd give in to that?
I mean, I think I would be a little upset. I think I would, I think I would maybe like, not like, I mean, I love music, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I sort of did study this thing that I do like a lot. And I feel like I could maybe work in, like, I don't know. I like if I absolutely had to, no disrespect to any of my professors that may be listening to this conversation.
I think the groupies in international relations is not as good as the groupies in music.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of the ambassadors are pretty cool.
You never know. Okay, I guess that's true. Diplomacy has its advantages, I suppose.
But I don't know. I think that just the nature of who I am, I think I would probably be more willing to listen to what my parents had to
and
say
maybe
or tell me.
because I know that about you, I'm not willing to sort of impose that. Like I would rather you find your own dream and voice, and I want to be rooting for you to pursue it rather than me lay out a course that you would follow begrudgingly. It's like, what would you? I mean, I guess the answer is like, if you were your own father, what would you do?
I don't know. I think
how would you handle you?
I don't know. I think like I would probably like encourage me to.
Would you be more demanding of you? Like, would you say, hey, if you want to be a musician, I'm going to expect you to do X, Y, and Z by this time?
Maybe. I mean, like I feel like I would want a father who says those kind of things, but not actually like follow up on it. Like, I don't know.
All right.
I mean, but do you? I don't want to.
I'm going to do me. I'm just interested. You're a smart guy. Listen, you're a very smart guy and a guy who I respect. So I think you have a good perspective.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's good to some extent to have that voice in my head, but I don't think that should be the end all be all. Like, I don't.
Interesting.
I think like I should hear some people being like, "Oh, you gotta put out an album by such and such time." Like, not that they expect me to necessarily, but just like I feel like some type of motivating force in that way might be helpful.
Right. Well, I mean, I have laid down certain parameters that I think are very important for you, but I mean, and not that I got to hold you to it, but we'll talk about that at Stanford while you're studying international relations. I think it's important, and so does your mom, that you gig. Then you play music, you play your music, that you spend as much time in front of an audience developing those chops, because your musical skills are great. Your songwriting skills are amazing, and your performance skills are fresh. So like you still need to figure out how to do that. You're doing better at it. You do more of it, but the more you do, the better you get at it. Yeah. So that's true. That's we think that's
who you calling fresh.
Isn't that your hip hop name? Fresh Kogi?
Stay tuned for some of my new releases.
So it also leads me to this other question that I had for you, which is, it sounds like you don't have, my first question, which is, you don't have incredible anxiety about the future. You have some.
I mean, I do. I also just feel like, I don't know, also climate change is scary. Like I have like sort of mega anxiety about the future, but I feel like I don't have as much anxiety about kind of finding my thing.
What do you do with the mega anxiety about the world at large, specifically all the stuff you can't control? it's not in your hands. I mean, you can be proactive as much as you want to be, but
I think at that point, I just focus on whatever it is I need to do, like sort of whatever I envision for myself in the future. I mean, like the world be what the world be what it will. Just sort of what do I want for the future, and like as long as it doesn't like actively hurt or harm the rest of the world.
Well, what is your top anxiety? What's the top anxiety on your list of just the world at large? Like we're staring down at the ecology getting destroyed, the environment getting destroyed. We're staring at possibly democracy that's floating away.
Yeah, that's scary too.
The economy, a middle class economy being impossible to live through.
Yeah,
I mean,
I feel like the middle class economy being impossible to live through is something that an anxiety that I feel like might directly affect more of my future. Right. Like, because I don't at some point, like, because I feel like there isn't really as much of like an artist middle class as there once was.
Right.
And like people, like people aren't really like people have to support themselves in many ways. Right. In order to sustain a career as an artist.
True. But do you think can you be doing something proactively to protect yourself in a world where you just don't know what's happening? Like, is there something you should be doing?
I mean, I suppose like organizing, feel like, I don't know, like, I guess I don't know. I mean, well, climate change is just scary. I feel like at that point, just kind of gotta advocate for change where you can. Right. That one is the most, I think that's the most scary to me, because I think with that, like, that affects all the other stuff too. Like if we don't have a livable world in however long time, then like
it's hard to worry about your middle class lifestyle if the world is burning.
Yeah, or hard to worry about democracy, or I mean, I guess you'd still worry about democracy too, but I don't know. But yeah, that's scary. I think at that point you just kind of have to like, I guess just I don't know what you do. Like organize.
Okay, well, maybe,
but like get together with people and advocate for change.
Organize, find like-minded people, figure out ways to help the environment, and figure out ways to encourage other people to sort of help the environment, and make sure the things that you do are as environmentally sound as they can be. It's not that one man can change anything, but one person as an example can change things, right? Yeah. So, and also advocate. Yeah, can move the needle like a little bit. And career-wise, like if there's no way to make a middle-class living at things, then build a business where you can make a middle-class living doing something and still pursue your passion. Find a way to combine your skills or the things that you love, and maybe you'll break the ice for other people. Yeah, I think that if actually going back to the thing about pivoting career-wise, like if I don't, like if for whatever reason, like sort of working as a musical artist, as a songwriter, as a producer, like if that doesn't work out, like I would probably develop some other kind of related business. That might be something I think about. Such as? I don't know. Like developing maybe like studio, like sort of renting a studio, or like leasing a studio out to people, or like something like that, or sort of providing space for people to work and like, I don't know, if I could find a way to like to make that make money. Here's a space that people can't afford to pay you for, and then you'll find a way to make it. Maybe you'll take a cut of their profits or something. On the back end. Maybe you'll be like an angel. Although I kind of do feel like that's a little bit like I feel like a lot of artists don't like those people. Right, of course. You'd be that other person. But, I don't know if I want to be the schmuck who does that. No, but providing a service to allow them to do their thing. But I don't know. But I would genuinely want to like help other artists. Like I don't think I would want to be like, I don't know, give me the moolah. Like I don't know. You know, you would have to make a living in order to keep your space open in order to help other artists. So it's like there's give and takes. Yeah, I don't know stuff. Yeah, these are good questions. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. I don't know if I'm going to be writing TV shows. I don't know if I'm going to be exclusively hosting these luxury podcasts, and I'll have a stable of shows on many different topics. Because I am an expert at many different things. I don't know. I was surprised how well you were able to converse about jewelry the other day with Julian's girlfriend.
Julian's girlfriend.
Yes, a mutual friend has a son named Julian who has a girlfriend who works at a jewelry store. But I'm part of being a writer, is observing life and trying to sort of, talk to people and ask them questions about their world.
Yeah, I don't know, but I guess but I feel like you knew a surprising amount to begin with anyway, just like more than I would have known.
Well,
or like,
is it that surprising that I know somewhat about jewelry, knowing that you know your mother?
Yeah, okay. I mean, but like, it's not that mom like loves jewelry and like has a crazy amount. It's like that she's very particular about the jewelry. And
I've never successfully bought her a piece of jewelry.
Yeah, so you've probably had the whole like, I don't know, whatever.
I've had an education in why I'm bad
the
at jewelry.
Zales catalog like explained to you.
Oh, Zales has nothing to do with your mother's jewelry.
Oh, well, actually, that may be a little below.
Yeah,
well, I don't know why I said Zales.
I don't know. But
Tiffany's.
Yes,
I don't know.
But I'm in theory against jewelry entirely. But that's another. To the expense of jewelry. I think you can decorate yourself, but why play the status game of platinum and multi-carat diamonds and all that kind of stuff? It's silly to me. But I don't know. I have my own other issues about the status that I participate in. So people can I'm the pot calling the kettle black. But here's my next question to you, or actually which is actually deeper, and it's not really what I'm thinking of, although I could do my 5 things that my father did that was the best and the worst. But I
should have him on for that.
Yeah, I will. But I asked you to think about what are some of the things that I've done right and that I've done wrong as a dad. Now that you're a fully fledged adult, you're on your own, kind of, you're not ever, your kid is never really on your own, but you are in control of your own life. There's nothing I could say to stop you or do anything. You are the boss of your life.
Sure.
So now that has happened and you turned out to be a pretty good guy, what are the 5 best things I did as a parent and 5 worst things I did as a parent?
I don't know if I can sort of put an exact number of 5 on it, but
what are some?
I have some.
Okay.
I did think about it on the drive here, and also last night.
All right.
I did my homework.
I must have been a pretty good parent if you did your homework and got here. Well, I guess I take some credit.
I was here 15 minutes early, Dad.
Good.
I almost
early's on time, man.
Yeah. Anyway. In showbiz. Although I know plenty of like musician friends who just show up late to things and they're just like, hey man, like I just.
Those are people who aren't professional.
I don't know. I mean, depends. But anyway, I think something that you did right was that you told me like, or you sort of made it a point that I try a lot of different things. Trying new things, I think generally is something that you instilled in me and that I have sort of taken and ran with.
Good. I'm proud of that. That's great. Your life will be more interesting because of it.
I mean, I think generally I think I'm sometimes a creature of habit, but I think that I have a willingness to try things that I don't think.
You're very adventurous.
That everyone else has.
You've been adventurous in terms of, even when you were a little kid, adventurous in terms of food. You're adventurous in terms of travel. You're adventurous in terms of experience. Like, you're willing to sort of go out there. You're willing to, put yourself out there and meet people. Like, you're sort of a schmoozer sometimes when you want to be.
Okay.
No, in a good way.
I think I'm honestly more of a schmoozer in college than I am like at home.
Okay. But I mean, that's good. But I mean, as long as those schmoozing can also turn into deepening good relationships as well. Those are great things. And learning subject matter, far and wide. That's a great thing that you can do in college, which is you don't have to just learn about IR. You can learn about, or music. You can learn about a myriad of things.
Yeah, no, those are some of the more interesting classes I've taken, like psychology or like, what did I take last? I took a linguistics class. I mean, like I like languages anyway, but it was interesting to sort of learn how rigidly and how scientifically linguists think about language.
Yeah.
Because we just sort of use language every day and we don't think of it as being we use it very fluidly, but they analyze it with such precision.
Right. I mean, Noam Chomsky's a linguist.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so there you go. It's like one of the great deep thinkers who's kind of a philosopher, but he says he's a linguist.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of, as a philosopher, as somebody who is a philosophy student, not without a degree. I did not get a degree at UCLA in philosophy.
Say that louder for mom.
Right. I'm a quarter away from my philosophy degree at UCLA, but still, I do think language is very telling about what we think of things and how we act in this world. So I agree.
Sure.
So I'm a winner. Yeah. I win in terms of trying new things.
Also, I think that for a lot of my childhood, especially like when I was really young, I think when I was exploring things, there were some things that I tried and I didn't like, and there were some things I tried and I liked, but I think sometimes you took some of those things a little bit further than I maybe would have liked to take them.
So I pushed you further into them? Like what?
I don't know. Well, not push me further, but like, I don't know. I think, I think it's appropriate that like sort of when I'm a kid, like I'm on the steering wheel, but you're on the gas.
Right.
Okay. That's kind of how I think of it.
But I mean, do you have an example of something that
I don't know. Like I remember like when I was like 3 years old or 4 years old, and I was like fixated on street signs.
Right.
And you like arranged like a tour of the LA Department of Transportation, like where they make street signs.
Right.
And then I was kind of like, oh shoot, what is like
what is this?
Yeah. What did I get myself into?
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, not like now that I'm like 22, I would have loved to go on that. Like, but at the time I was like 4. What would I have gotten from that?
I don't know, but you seem to be very interested in street signs. So I figured whatever you're curious about, I wanted you to be able to dig deeper in.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, but I think at the same time there was I think a little bit of.
Was there a stigma? Did people at school make fun of you and say, you went to the street sign factory?
Oh, I think I was like maybe worried about that even at that young age.
Okay,
but like I also just think, I don't know, there were certain things, like I think like. Sometimes, like when I expressed interest in something, you may have sort of like gone a step further than I maybe was ready for.
Right.
It's not about that I didn't need that step at all, but it was just that I like it may have been like a year or two too early.
Right. Okay.
Like I don't know, like sort of. I don't know. I think it's sort of taken me a while to cook in certain ways.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that. I don't know. I may have been a little too
Yeah, and I can freely admit that I had no barometer as to what was age appropriate with a kid who, you were a very intelligent little kid and you had a lot of ideas and you expressed them very well. And I didn't know, like, should I treat you like a 12-year-old? Should I treat you like a 10-year-old? Should I treat you like a 3-year-old? Should I treat I didn't know you intellectually were smart. Emotionally, you're still the age you're at. So it was hard to sort of gauge. But you're right. I probably made many mistakes.
I don't know, but I don't think you made like criminal mistakes.
No, I'm not saying criminal. I'm just saying like, that's a fair criticism. I'm saying I agree with you. It's a fair criticism. I was a little lost in like, well, what do I do with this kid who likes street signs? Yeah, I don't know anybody else who's a kid who loves street signs like that.
I don't know. To be fair, that was a weird time. Also, I mean, but I'm still interested in street signs. Right. There's like 5 different types of street signs in LA, and like I know the difference between, and like I can tell you when they were like the 50s have like the block letters, like the ones that were made in like post-war have like the block letters. The ones that are like from the 80s are trapezoidal. The ones from the 70s are like light blue. And
you mind if I say something now?
Yeah.
Nerd.
Okay.
You're such a nerd. Is it bad if I bully you now? Yeah. As a person, as your father? Okay.
That's fine.
All right. All right. Good. All right. So that's one.
I never actually was bullied for the street signs. I was bullied for other things, but not the street signs.
What were you bullied for?
Well, I mean, I had my nut allergy.
Right.
And so, like, I don't know.
People bullied you for your nut allergy. That's true.
Well, also, like, because I was, like, moved up a grade when I was, like, really young.
Right.
And I think that, like, I was a pretty easy kid to pick on. I was, like, smaller and, like, I mean, I was clearly smart because, like, I was moved up into like, I was younger than all of them.
Right.
But I think, I don't know. I was like, they found my weaknesses.
Everybody does. Every kid is made fun of for something. So if it wasn't your level of smarts or your peanut allergy, it would have been something else. Yeah. So, so what else did I do that are either positive or negative?
Yeah, I think another positive. I'm not sure. Actually, maybe it's like a double-edged. Like I think a lot of these things are like kind of like like, I don't know, some of them are like mix of positive and negative. Like, I think in some way, like maybe something that was like tough at the time turned out to sort of teach me a lesson. Or
what's that? What was that?
Like, I think when you were spending all that time in Vancouver, when you were working on the troupe,
right?
You would still come home like you would leave like Sunday night, and then you'd come back like Thursday or Friday, night. And like you were always home like on the weekends, or like for the most part you were home. So I think there were like a few extended.
There was one weekend where I was directing where I was not allowed to come back. I had to go for the state.
But I don't know. But I think that was tough for me. I think when I was like, I don't know, I must have been like 7 or 8, or like. But I think it ultimately kind of taught me a lesson, like sort of.
I hope it was the lesson. Don't ever love because you might get hurt.
No, but just like,
oh shit! Well, that's not the lesson I was trying to teach.
No, but I think it was like, it sort of showed me like we knew, like I felt like I still felt your love even while you were in Vancouver. I think you made it a point to sort of be at home while you could. Right.
I tried to talk to you on Zoom or Skype. You didn't really like that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that was like, I don't know. I thought, I think, and also just sort of like, I don't know, like that may sound like a little like old school, but like providing for the family. Like, you know, I felt like you were doing this job so that you could like provide for us. And you were also there for us like on the weekends when you could be. And
did you ever think how hard it was to do all that commuting all the time?
Not really. But it was like, but I mean,
how
like,
exhausting it was?
But I look back now and I'm like, holy shit, excuse me. This guy was like, my dad was flying like on 2 airplane flights a week. Like I could like, I don't know. I don't think I could even do like 2 airplane flights a month.
Oh,
like,
yes, you could. But so it was hard. It was hard to be away from the family. But you know, it was a interesting job, and I did feel bad for being away, but I also felt like ultimately it was the right thing to do, and I'm glad you took something away from that.
And then there are other periods of my life where you were like almost 2 around. So, so you made up for it.
What were those periods?
I don't know. Like, I think there were a couple like in high school, like. I don't know. Just, I mean, there were a couple times like after a show had ended, or like after, like you were just kind of like around, like
lingering in the backstage when you sort of wanted to just hang out with your friends.
Not even that. Like just kind of. Like I wasn't complaining that you're around, but I don't know.
No, you can complain. That's what I'm here to hear the complaints. This is what the show is. Like, the show is not interesting if you're a great dad. The show is interesting only if you fucked up. Here's how you fucked me, Dad. This is how you screwed me up. This is the thing that really pissed me off. I want to hear that.
But I don't know. I just feel like there were a couple times where I don't know. I think there were like a couple times when I was like maybe like 16, 17 where it's just like Dad's always here. God damn it. Just like not, I don't even know what I was like what I was like wanted to do that made me feel that way. But just like it, like whatever I felt like you weren't around when I was like 7 or 8, I felt like you were 2 around in like 16 or 17.
Okay. That's true. Well, I did, just before you got your driver's license or your car, I was taking you to school. I was around for that kind of stuff.
I don't know.
So, I don't know. Yeah.
But I appreciated that. It wasn't.
I love that. I mean, selfishly, that was one of the great things I had.
And I actually enjoyed that. But I think it was more just kind of like, I don't know. I'm struggling to like find a specific example, but like it was something that I do remember feeling for a little bit.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm sorry if I was around too much, but or in your way. I really do. I do feel for that. I feel like I came from parents, my mother specifically, who was in the way sometimes, who was her need outweighed my ability to sort of be independent and grow.
Well, I don't think but you weren't like sort of needy in any way. It was just kind of like, oh, he's around. Like it was like, I don't think you were like, I don't feel like you were ever needy or demanding in the same way that Nana is. Right. But maybe. Right.
Well, that's a whole other episode. Nana's a whole
bring Nana Sue on the podcast.
Yes, we will have her.
We'll have that. Yeah.
Yes. She's not coming up those stairs. I'll tell you that much. Right. So, okay. So, around too little, around too much. But what else did I do that sort of like, was there any standout thing? Both positive. You can give me a little compliment sandwich. Remember from Little League, you have to do a compliment sandwich.
Well, Little League was a compliment sandwich.
Little League, Little League, you were supposed to do 4 4 good things or 3 good things and 1 criticism.
Okay.
As a coach, when I was a coach. So I was supposed to
actually,
say,
I was gonna like I knew Little League was gonna come up at some point because a lot of my like a lot of lessons and a lot of qualms from Little League.
Okay, so let's talk. That's what we've opened the Little League box.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So I think when you were a Little League coach, I think for better or for worse, kind of instilled a sense of we're not playing to win, we're playing to like have fun and sort of work as a team.
Right, and get better.
Yeah, get better, improve.
Right.
Like I always feel a little odd about the whole like most improved trophy at the end of the year.
Right.
I remember. I don't know how that person's supposed to feel.
They're supposed to feel good that they worked hard and they improved.
Yeah, I don't
that's
know.
pretty good.
But because like Harvard Westlake also gave like a most improved, or essentially what amounted to be a most improved.
Right, but they didn't believe in that.
Like I don't.
They only believed in excellence.
Yeah, but
winning.
Anyway, that's but I do think that.
Well, let's go back. Harvard Westlake. You chose to go to one of the most competitive schools in your city. You went to a very tough, pressure-filled school that now is like getting flack because a lot of kids are killing themselves because of the pressure. Like literally, you're having this thing. Why did you think you chose to put yourself into that pressure cooker?
Yeah, well, at the time, I don't know, I was only like 11 or 12 when I made that decision.
Right, but I kept telling you, anytime you want to get out of here, you can. I said that a bunch of times.
I think for whatever reason, I felt like, I don't know, well, I definitely felt very smart in elementary school, and everyone was telling me at that time, like, for whatever reason, like, oh, like, you'll do great at Harvard Westlake. You'll like, and so I bought into that a little bit. And like just kind of people feeling like I wouldn't have any problem at a school like that.
Well, and you didn't have too many academic problems.
But I struggled. I like everything like was difficult, but it's not a thing that I couldn't overcome but I definitely worked. It
was challenging.
I worked hard.
They said you'd be challenged and you were challenged.
Yeah. And I think I kind of felt like if I did that now, it would make the rest of my life easier in some ways.
And what do you think?
Well, it's definitely made college quite not easy, but like easier.
Right.
Like I can crank out a 5-page paper in a night, no problem.
Right.
Professors, sorry. You can tell there are typos.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. I think and just kind of being able to process information in a very like drinking from a fire hose kind of way. I feel like Harvard Westlake trained me for that.
So good decision. That was good. That was your decision.
Yeah.
That was a good
and
decision.
I think honestly, and also whatever like artistic stuff that I felt like maybe wasn't supported by Harvard Westlake, well, which I was in jazz band, I was in choir, but I wasn't going to be a professional chorister for the rest of my life. But I felt like it supported the things that I wound up ultimately wanting to do. But I also appreciated that I could sort of do the things I wanted to do outside of the Harvard Westlake structure.
Right. Like, and I don't think Crossroads kids or other private schools in Los Angeles that were more artsy feeling, I don't know that those kids had a leg up artistically.
I don't know. I mean, well,
you think they did?
Well, no, not necessarily. But I think that, or at least like at my year, like I think it kind of comes and goes in waves. Like I think it depends on the group of kids. Some classes are more artistic than others. Some, like I think the class below me seemed a little bit more artistic.
Right.
The class above me didn't really seem so. Like I think it kind of comes and goes in waves at Harvard Westlake. I think at Crossroads, I think people definitely take their artistic pursuits. They have a level of gravitas. Right. Or at least that's what I get from the jazz, the jazz competitions that I was at in high school, like the Monterey Next Gen Jazz, like the Harvard, like basically what like love Mr. C, Mr. Costantino, right. But I felt like, oh God, if he listens to this, no, but
no, good,
but I think that
be authentic, be what you feel.
No, but I think that like he really had an emphasis of just like us flexing on like 240 beats per minute songs, right? Like playing a bunch of like crazy eighth note solos, right. Like just stuff that you wouldn't be like, you would have to like hear at half speed, right, to process fully, right? Whereas, and I feel like I didn't like that at the time. I think I wanted to sort of do more like
Right.
I cared more about the like sort of structured solo and building it out and not just like showing off my chops.
You didn't want the fireworks.
I mean, the fireworks didn't hurt, but I feel like you build up to the fireworks if you can.
All right, but he's trying to win awards. He's trying to win competition.
Yeah, and I think that, and that was his strategy.
Right.
And I respected that.
Right.
And I learned how to... And so I learned how to do that to some extent. I not as good as some other kids, but I think, when I listened to the Crossroads kids play, they were taking their time.
Right.
They were sort of playing things very tastefully. I mean, not that taste is what wins that competition, but just kind of like, I felt like they had a level of
sophistication,
sort of like they sort of thought, like thoughtfulness,
right,
in how they played, which I appreciate.
But it's still all just jazz.
I don't know.
It's still 14-year-old kids playing jazz.
Yeah. Well, I remember you went to one of my jazz concerts, because like there were a couple of jazz cohorts at my high school, and like I sort of worked my way up from like the sort of like beginner level to like the most advanced level. And I remember you went to one of those concerts and you were like the beginning bands play music I love terribly, and the advanced bands play music I hate well.
Which is true. Yeah. It's terrible.
Because like they were playing like some like old like sort of Sinatra-y standards.
Classic standards, ruining them. And then the older ones are playing really esoteric Thelonious Monk songs and just and that I didn't love and just but playing them well. It's But I don't know. I will say the jazz did give me an interesting skill set. Like I think I got a lot better on piano because of it. I think I sort of learned to listen to music a little bit differently. Be good at presenting something that people dislike. So that's great. Congratulations. All right. Well, before we move on to the, just one more thing. Is there one overall thing, if you could have changed, magic wand, dad, if you didn't do X, it would have been really helpful to me. Yeah. Well, or still. Also, we
still didn't come back to Little League.
Oh yeah, Little. Come back. Talk about Little League.
Yeah, no, but
as
Little
a coach, was that miserable?
No,
for you?
I think you were a good coach. I think people liked you. But I do think that at some point, I think I maybe should have cared more about winning than I did.
Well, you made that decision for yourself when you quit Little League. You said, "I don't care whether we win or not," and other people here do.
Yeah, but at some point, I kind of wish But looking back, I kind of wish I had begun to care. Like I feel like I didn't really I didn't realize how results oriented I was until like junior year of high school. Like I think I was like I was like results oriented in the things I knew that I was good at.
Okay,
like, but I mean, not that I would like. To be fair, I was decent at baseball. I don't think I would have like gone to play it professionally.
No, you wouldn't have been professional, but you were very good at that level. You were a very good player. You had a great arm. You were a great first baseman. You were a very good outfielder. You were a great third baseman, and you were a pretty decent pitcher. A weird ass pitcher, but very decent.
Weird.
Yeah, your skill set was throwing some off speed pitches that were very fascinating and struck out people all the time. I think part of it was because you didn't want to throw too hard at people because you were afraid you were going to hit them.
Yeah.
And so you threw some
I took pride in only hitting one batter.
Off-speed pitches that really like confused the batters a lot.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting.
Because I didn't want to be like, because I feel like people were scared of those pitchers that would like hit the bat. Like they're like, oh, like I heard Adam hit like 3 batters last game. Like I didn't want to be like that. Right. No. I wanted to... it was a pride thing.
Yeah. Well, you were great. I really enjoyed watching you.
Yeah.
Highlights. There are certain plays, but also just you doing a somersault as you came in for a home run.
Well, the other coach got mad at me for that. Like he was like, no showboating on the field.
You know what? Doing a was a cartwheel.
Yeah,
a cartwheel as you got into home run when you're a little kid having the time of your life was the best. One of the best memories I ever saw.
Yeah, but I do think. I don't know. I do think
fuck that other coach for saying that's not fun.
But I do think something that I've been thinking about a lot recently, and I don't know if it's really your fault, but it's just something that I don't think maybe it's because I'm an only child.
Yep.
Like I think I sort of like individuality versus teamwork. I think I tend to sort of do things more on my own than with a team, for better or for worse.
Right.
I don't know if that's because I'm an only child or because but I think even in Little League, I feel like the lessons of teamwork weren't fully like instilled in me. Like it was kind of just like do your best.
Right.
And that's kind of what I got from that, and not as much like
but cooperate. I mean, you had to be cooperative
but
to
it was
make it
sort of
teamwork.
yeah, I mean, like I felt like I was cooperating, but I didn't really.
It seems like jazz band and choir and all those group activities would have instilled some sense of teamwork.
Yeah, I think like jazz band was probably the most teamy I felt.
Right.
In my that's no, I think like jazz band was sort of the most cooperative, collaborative thing that I had experienced up to that point.
I mean, one of the problems with cooperation at that level of the Little League is like none of these. This is not you did not choose this team. Yeah, this team is just a randomly assigned team, and so not everybody.
Jazz is, but like at least like school jazz band was kind of.
I guess so, but there was a merit based. Yeah, assuming is mostly merit based, position in the top bands or whatever it was.
Yeah. Are you saying I didn't deserve to be in the top?
No, I'm saying I'm not saying that about baseball necessarily, but I'm just saying that you made a bit. You usually made the All-Star team or the Eagle team, whatever it was, each year. But that baseball wasn't your thing.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Baseball was not your thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I think also like when you were a kid, when I was a kid, I think like something that you used to say like the 4 P's or was it the 3 P's? One of the 4 P's was just pee because I wasn't peeing a lot at school.
Right.
I was scared to go to the bathroom.
Play, participate.
Yeah. Play, participate, and pay attention.
Yeah.
And I feel like participate was always the one that I struggled a little bit with.
Right.
And I felt like because at some point I kind of felt like my way of participating was just kind of like giving of myself without really sort of thinking much about it. But it was less about like interacting and more about just kind of like, hey, here. Like,
well, now at 22, I hope you participate. I hope you're interactive.
Yeah, I think I'm better at that. But
okay.
I also think like artistically, I feel like I have a tendency to sort of want to do things. Like I'm like the little red hen in the face. Like I want to do it myself.
Well, if you'll take this observation, I think part of it is your sense of control. Like you want to have control over the thing, and sometimes you don't realize what you get out of a collaboration.
Yeah,
you lose some control, but you get something else.
Yeah,
a different a different end product and a different experience.
Yeah, I don't know, and I think I was able to sort of like, I think maybe also, I think it's different because I think with jazz, like sort of improv and sort of like lack of, or not, I mean, you're in control to some extent, but a lot of it is out of your control. Right. And I feel like I was able to just sort of accept that with jazz.
So Charlie Kogen,
with songwriting, I was like, I felt very much in control.
You are now a songwriter. You're a very talented songwriter, singer. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have us insert a song here that you did that I don't know which song it'll be, probably either Millions or Night in Cargo Shorts.
Your choice.
Okay. 2 of your latest singles. And so the audience can get a sense of who you are.
What is this all for? Do you do it for yourself, or is there something more? You got a million people lining up to bow and kiss your feet, and another million people making plans to steal your seat. Make a million faces smile, a million dreams come true. There's only one of you. I can spend $1 million making castles in the sand, spend 1 million hours trying, but I'll never understand. There's a million things you are that I may never be, and there's only one of me. Got a million people lining. There's only one of me. There is only one of me. There's only one of me. I can spend $1 million. There's only one of me, baby. Spend 1 million hours trying. There's only one of me now. There's a million things you are that only one of me. There's only one of me.
Charlie Kogen is available to be listened to at what? At Charlie Kogen on Spotify?
Yeah, Charlie Kogen, CHARLIE space KOGEN. you might also see my Spotify user profile in addition to my artist profile. So make sure it's the artist, although I do make some pretty good playlists.
So it's but you're on Amazon and you're Apple and all
I'm on all the streamers.
Right. And you have a new song coming out?
Yes, I do. I don't know when it will be released relative to when this airs, but probably sometime in October. Maybe.
Okay. Well, my guess is the song will be released by the time this airs. How do you feel about artistically your growth as an artist?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely feel I don't know. I mean, I feel like I just kind of write what I write, at least with songs. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much I've really grown. I feel like I try to make things different. I when I sit down to write a song, I'm like, oh, that sounds too much like something else I wrote. I try to make it as though.
What's more important, being different or saying something?
Saying something. I think. I mean,
so would you sacrifice being different if you had to repeat yourself, but you thought that was the right way to say something? It really hit something.
I think I would do that.
Good.
But I think saying something is more important. But because I think there are a lot of bands and a lot of artists that reuse the same phrases. And,
right.
I think of
terrible bands like the Eagles and Bruce Springsteen and Tom Petty.
I don't know. But I feel like a lot of the Bruce Springsteen, I love Bruce Springsteen, but as we've talked, he's the kind of artist where it feels like if you learned that he wrote all of his songs in the same day, you wouldn't be surprised.
That is absolutely true. He does sound like he comes from a very specific groove that has unchanged for many years.
No disrespect, he's great. Right. But I think I try to make things within my own catalog. I try to make things diverse as I can.
It'll be if you go to Charlie Kogen and see his work, it does sound like it's been written by 12 different people. So there's that may be good or bad. I don't know.
I think it's part of me wants to really be like a chameleon and sort of oh, I can write a country song, but I can also write a soul song, and I can also write a hooky 2023 pop song.
Right, and you can, and you do.
But I think but there's another part of me that's sort of I a lot of the artists that I admire are also quite idiosyncratic in their own ways. I don't know, Randy Newman or somebody like that, or the Beach Boy, Brian Wilson. Yeah, very he's sort of built his own sonic palette very. Right.
But he uses the same chords or the same harmonies, and
his sonic palette is very recognizable.
Right.
But I don't know. But I do think I've grown. I think also as I've experienced more life in general, I think I've grown as an artist, and I think sometimes I hope that one doesn't get in the way of the other.
My fatherly advice to you, even if I wasn't your father, I'd say every bit of your experience will be funneled through your work as an artist, and it's good. All that extra experience is good and makes you seasoned and grow, and there's no downside to any of that. That's great. Yeah. And also I do see you becoming a better, not just songwriter, but also producer. Your abilities as a producer is grown exponentially over the years. So that's
I think
great.
A lot of that is just trial and error.
Yeah. If you were shitty, it'd be very easy for me to say, don't go into music.
Would you be having me on this podcast?
No, I maybe if you were interesting, I'd have you on. Okay. But if you were shitty as a musician, okay. I don't think I would be recommending your music, and I'd probably be telling you, think about other things just for your own good.
Yeah, study, go into the spy business.
Right, but you're very interesting and melodic and wonderful, and there's music that I respect. So I like
that. That means a lot to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry I haven't told you this for the rest of your entire life. That he's 22. This is the first moment I've ever given a compliment.
My dad's been withholding this from me. No. You tell me a lot.
I'm a fan. He knows I'm a fan, but I really I sincerely mean it. And I would be sincere if I didn't like something, and if I haven't liked something, I've said that's not good, or I don't like it, or, not that I'm the judge of anything. I'm just giving my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know, but I definitely think also just going back to the whole anxiety question, and I think part of what I don't have anxiety, but part of what gives me hope is that all we have are ideas, right? All we have are just kind of the world, the creative economy runs on ideas.
Right. That's right.
And as long as you have ideas, you have something.
100%.
And I feel like as long as I can write songs, as long as I can record a guitar that like a riff that I like I won't be like, I don't know. I'll have something.
It is worth something. I totally agree.
And I think like I was listening to like an Instagram. Listen, I'm a little old school. I watch Instagram reels and not TikTok.
Wow.
For the most part.
All right, Grandpa.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, come at me in the comments.
Right. I'm on TikTok. According to my phone, I'm on TikTok about 23 hours a day. That may be too much.
Yeah, that's a lot. Wait,
yeah,
23?
23 hours a day, yes.
Okay.
According to my phone.
Okay. Are you sure you're not like a bot or something?
Not sure.
Anyway, but there's some Instagram reel. I think maybe it was like Pharrell or somebody talking about like a piece of advice that he got early on in his career. He said like, somebody said, don't try to write hit songs. Just try to write great songs or try to write good songs. Like hits come and go, but like sort of you'll always have a good song. Like people will always come back to that. And I feel like there's something I like about that, because I feel like the nature of like the business is very like ephemeral and like, or sort of what's popular and what is like what people like. But I feel like as long as you like something and as long as you feel good about your idea, like that's all you have. Like that's all you need. And whether people like it, that's sort of like a secondary.
Rick Rubin said something very similar. He said basically it's an offering. It's a creative offering to the gods of creativity. Like you are giving something, your best thing is the thing that you love and you're offering it up. Nobody else may like it, but as long as you like it, you've got something. And I agree with that. You'll always have that song. You'll always have that thing. It may be in the trunk for 20 years, but it may be pulled out and become something later on. It may always have a use, but make the best thing you can. That's 100% true. And Pharrell, I've gone to Pharrell for all my life advice. So I'm glad that he helped you in this particular one. Incredible medical diagnostician. People don't know that. Yeah. He found a suspicious lump on my leg one time. It was amazing. God bless Pharrell.
Yeah, but his sense of hats didn't really rub off on you.
No, thank God. So I have two more. I'm going to go to question time. Okay, so here's the theme of question time.
It's question time.
Okay, and then I'm going to say that we're running too long for question time. So we heard the theme, but we're not going to do the questions because too many questions and we're running long. So now we're just going to go right to listener mail. Okay, here's the listener mail theme.
Now it's time for listener mail.
Very nice. All my themes, the music on the show is of course created by Charlie Kogen. Thank you. Yeah. Now I know that
some of my best work.
Just to be clear, I asked Charlie for cheesy music. This is not Charlie approved music. This is Jay Kogen approved music.
But I wanted to make it like tastefully cheesy.
It's
like,
beautiful. I love it. But I'm just saying, like, it's not necessarily it's not something that you sweated out. It is the Bruce Springsteen did it all in one day kind of feel.
Yeah. No, I did do it all in one day.
Right.
Well, actually, the theme was recorded much earlier.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, good. All right. But now we're going to go right to listener mail. So we just played the listener mail theme, and here's today's listener mail. Hey, Jay, where does your life fulfillment come from in terms of writing? Is it being able to earn a living, living a creative lifestyle, or both? How has fulfillment and its meaning changed over the years? Best, Joey. Joey, by the way, is the guy who also drew, I think this Joey is the guy who drew the Simpsons, Homer Simpson strike shirt.
Oh,
the same Joey.
I have that shirt.
I think it is. Anyway, I'm not positive. Anyway, so what is your answer to this? Where does your life fulfillment come from in terms of being a creative? Is it from being able to earn a living, or is it just being able to do it, or both?
Well, I haven't earned a living yet doing it. Right. So I think right now it comes from doing it.
Could you conceivably be a dentist and still make music? Would you still make music if you were a dentist?
Probably. I think I would still sit down at the piano and play stuff. I think I don't know how invested or like excited I would be about it, but I think I think that might change.
So part of it is sitting down and making a song and producing it is the thought that this could catch. This could be something. This is part of my oeuvre and hopefully will amount to something career-wise.
Yeah, or at least kind of like, or there's like a hope there that like sort of someone that I don't know or someone that I like, or someone that doesn't know that I'm a musician will hear this and like it.
Right.
Like that's that I think that gives me fulfillment.
I have an interesting thing. Like for me, writing, it's very hard for me to write if I'm not getting paid. So I would say that just writing for the love of writing is not what I do. I write and have written for years and years and years, mostly to get paid.
Yeah.
But also I do like writing, and I do like the creative satisfaction of writing ideas and making something. But without the thought I'm going to get paid, or without the thought of it as a deadline, I probably wouldn't do it. I'm much more likely to do something like this, a podcast where I'm social, I'm around people, or improv or stand-up comedy where it can hear people laugh. I'm more likely to do that because at least I get a sense of belonging, a sense societal. I'm not as isolated. It's less painful for me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I could probably make music in a more social manner. Like I just sometimes don't. I think also the pandemic kind of like, I feel like I kind of used the pandemic as an opportunity to learn how to do stuff myself. Right.
And you did, and you have, but it's nothing wrong with now branching out. Yeah.
But I don't think like I would necessarily be like writing and producing as like, or sort of painstakingly producing as much as I do if I were a dentist.
Right.
Like I think I would still be like writing ideas for songs, but I don't really know what I would be doing with them.
If you were a dentist, would you have your own music piped into the room while people are getting their teeth cleaned?
I don't know. That's tough. Like I don't know. I just feel like I've met too many.
Wouldn't it be great?
I met too many dentists with like odd secondary interests that are like, and a lot of the time they're like music or like guitar aficionados or like music aficionados.
Does that make them bad dentists?
No, but it's just like I don't know. I don't know. But it just like I don't know. I feel like if I were going to me as a dentist who were doing that, it would rub me the wrong way in a way that's like even more extreme than like how sort of like the gold records on some doctors' offices around here kind of also rub me the wrong way.
I kind of like the idea you're just like drilling into somebody's tooth. It's like, you hear that riff? That's me.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of thing. That'd be nice.
Also, but like, I don't know, but there are people that sort of that have very successful other careers, and then they decided to like, I'm thinking of the Goldman Sachs guy who got into trouble over the pandemic for like being a DJ.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But did he get in trouble, or did he just get noticed for it?
Well, I think he was in trouble because it was like an unmasked event in like the Hamptons, or like like in like August of 2020. Like,
well, hey man,
he has like 12 different versions of "Rescue Me" by Fontella Bass.
Your fake demic is over. All right. You know, now we're free to be ourselves.
I only really know about this guy from John Oliver, but I think but there are other people, like I think some of my like finance people might wind up working for this guy. So
yeah, that's true.
Like my finance friends.
Well, Charlie Kogen, thank you for being here. This has been fascinating and interesting. I apologize for all the mistakes I've made.
Yeah,
and
so many, so terrible.
So many. And I love you very dearly. And, but you know that. And
I love you too.
It's great. Thanks, buddy. And I'm a big fan. And you all, any listeners I have should be big fans of Charlie Kogen. Just because he's great, and you should give his music a sample and see what you think.
Not just because I'm a Nepo baby.
No. Nepo baby only gets you in the door, baby. Yeah. Then you gotta get.
I will say this is the only time not the only time, but like this is one of a very few times recently where I've been proud to be like a Nepo baby a little bit.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's a big stigma around it, but like. If I can get onto a podcast with my dad, that's like it's time well spent.
It's one of the great Norman Rockwell paintings.
Yeah,
son and father at podcast. It's beautiful. All right. Well, I'm glad that you're proud. I'm proud of you, everything you do, and can't wait to see more from you, both in your creative work and your international relating. I'm very excited to see what comes of that. And thank you to the podcast viewers and listeners. You guys are great. If you have any email that you want to shoot me, it's dbawjaykogen@gmail.com. And we'll be back next week with another amazing show. And thanks for listening. Hi, I'm here at the Don't Be Alone with Jay Kogen Meditation Garden and Nature Preserve to let you know the interview you just watched was recorded in 2023 and now it's 2024. And the song that Charlie was talking about has been released, and it's available on Amazon and Spotify and Apple and all the cool music platforms where artsy pop music is available. So here's a taste of Charlie Kogen's new song, Life of the Party of One.
1, 2, 1. is my attention span. With you I come undone. I take a dive into the wide open spot in the middle of the room that's got the taste of regret, the smell of perfume. I'm descending into an ending that's just begun. And no matter what I know is true, I'll lie my way right back to you. You're my moment in the sun, my life of the party of one. The way the light falls on your skin. I was leaving but I saw you walking in. Tonight love is a game that I might win, but talk is cheap. And I'm falling down to a different dimension. Round, spin around just as quick as my attention span. With you I come undone. I take a dive into the wide open spot in the middle of the room that's got the taste of regret, the smell of perfume. I'm descending into an ending that's just begun. And no matter what I know is true, I'll lie my way right back to you. You're my moment in the sun, my life of the party of wide open spot. Middle of the room, it's got the taste of regret, the smell of perfume. I'm descending into an ending that's just begun. And no matter what I know is true, I'll lie my way right back to you. You're my moment in the sun, my life of the party of one.